Welcome to the Lawndale Guitar Show, the show that's all about guitars and the people that play them. For this episode, I'm very pleased to introduce Mr. Fernando Carbajal.
How's it going, man?
Great, thanks for coming in.
Pretty good, no problem.
All right, I see you got a Fender Strat there ready for us. You want to give us a little sample of what we're going to hear in a minute?
Sure. All right.
Excellent, excellent.
No problem.
Obviously some blues are in your roots there.
Yeah, my strong point.
Yeah. Now, and I wasn't providing the rhythm. You have a sampler there that's punching in some rhythm for you.
Yeah, RC30 loop station by
Why don't we
Boss.
do that first? Why don't we go over the gear that you brought in? What are you running through?
So first in my chain would be the wah pedal, Jimi Hendrix signature. From that, go down to my tube screamer, TS808. From there to the TR2 tremolo. That jumps.
Vibrato effect.
Yeah, a little, somewhat Leslie, but not really. Then we go to delay, and then fat boost. Then from there, we go all the way back around to overdrive and compressor. And that to another compressor, and then to the loop station. So, so I could kind of use all my effects on and off and not record them on there while I do that.
Good sound. Now you're punching through a Fender tube amp there.
Yeah, Fender Bluesville, 4x10, 60 watt, I believe. Yeah, with
always has a good tone.
Oh yeah.
Right. Now the guitar you're holding, how long you been owner of that Strat?
This guy, I'll say maybe going to 2 years.
2 years?
Possibly. Yeah, everything's pretty much stock.
Right.
And out of the box. I did get it refretted, with fatter frets.
And what particular model is that Strat?
John Mayer signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good quality.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you have to your left a couple of other guitars that you brought in. And take a few minutes and let's look at those.
All right. Should I try
Yeah, well, you can plug them in if you like, or just hold them.
This guy's one of my favorites. Gets so much tone out of him.
Yeah, semi-hollow.
Yeah. Sustained. Oh, man.
Now, this is a Hagstrom.
Yeah.
And
Viking.
You know about how old that is?
I got it maybe about 2-3 years ago. Actual age on it, not sure. But yeah.
Styling is like the Gibson ES335.
Yeah, the ES335.
Right.
One of the reasons why I kind of got this one a lot cheaper, obviously, but the tone's about the same. The sustain.
Sample?
The sustain on it, Oh, just keep my volume knobs down.
Yeah, because of the feedback kicks in. Yeah, real pretty.
Has a nice.
Oh yeah, very rich.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Now we'll get into it in a minute. Do you do any recording, or you play live with all your instruments, or your favorites?
Yeah, in another band I'm in, we just finished our demo. I use this guy, the Epiphone Les Paul, on pretty much throughout the entire demo. But when it comes to live, usually my Strat, it gives me. I could turn down the tone knob and give it a humbucker feel.
Yeah.
So I have more options with my Strat than.
Very versatile.
Yeah.
Now, to get about you in particular, how long have you been playing guitar now?
I have memory or pictures that kind of tell story, but something around the age of 2 or 3 or so.
Real young.
Yeah, real young. I started off real young. I never really took it serious till maybe I'll say my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
That's when, you know, more opportunities were thrown at me.
Started playing with friends and bands and so forth.
Yeah, mostly the school jazz band that I was in. You know,
now you are local to South Bay. We were talking before the show taping that Hawthorne is your
Hawthorne
home base.
was my home base where, you know, jammed with friends or, you know, well, all my friends are musicians, so it's kind of a good thing.
Right.
You know.
Become a network.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we start a band here, start a different band with the same musicians, just someone else is on bass, but, you know, everyone stayed in the circle. But yeah, that's what we do most of the time.
Now, what's the name of the band that you're playing in currently?
Currently, I'm in two of them. There's Sumerium, which is like a thrash metal, you know, and then my other band is reggae ska called Castillos Arena. You know, kind of Castles Made of Sand by Hendrix kind of inspired that. But yeah, right now we're working on we're discussing a demo. Hopefully next week we'll start recording.
Great.
See how that goes. I'll get some stuff out there.
Yeah, are you guys gigging anywhere locally in Southern California?
Our last gig, I'll say, was at the Hawthorne Good Neighbors, and prior to that was at the Whiskey.
So you are getting into Hollywood.
So yeah, so Hollywood area is mostly where, you know, we're getting gigs out there.
Developing a following and everything.
Yeah, we have a decent following for you know, the time we've been together.
Now in the group, each one is a different tablet of music that you're playing. Is one more original or one more cover, or how's that work?
They're both highly original. Yeah,
Okay.
Our singer has a big thing with trying to do originals, and
That's
I don't
good.
blame him. You know,
Yeah.
we get more creative, more. You know, oh, I like that song. Did you cover it? No, it's an original. You know, that feeling's always good of knowing someone.
Now,
you know.
when I saw you guys at the Hawthorne event, you had a horn section come up, and they were students at Hawthorne High.
One of them is a current. Yeah, she's gonna be a senior this year. But yeah, we have 2 trombones, alto sax, tenor sax, and a trumpet.
Now they didn't play the entire show with you, but when you do other gigs, do they perform throughout, or they just come up for specials?
For that particular show, since we had a guest saxophone player, which was originally an original member, but due to school and all that, he kind of had to part his way. But yeah, we kind of just stuck with the music that we had with them down so far.
Okay.
And then the other half was just, you know, well, we all jam all the time. Might as well throw that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very effective.
Yeah, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
You know, it worked.
A lot of fun. Really added a lot of
Yeah.
sound and added new dimension and everything.
Blues, and out of nowhere you have reggae, and it's just like I didn't see that coming, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very nice. Very original.
Yeah, that's.
So, what's your future plans? You gonna do as much as you can with these guys? You have any other goals to get out?
Personal goal is Berkeley School of Music. You know.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, you know, one of my idols, John Mayer. Obviously, he's big impact in my life. You know, he went there, so you know, I'm trying to follow his footsteps, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to be John Mayer. You know.
Like, you always want to have your.
Yeah, like he says in one of his quotes, you know, you're always trying to mimic or try to sound like someone, and you know, that's pretty much impossible. But throughout the way, you kind of become your own.
True.
That's
very true.
Yeah, so.
Now, he's also noted as a vocalist. Do you do any vocals, or do you plan to?
I try, but not really a big fan of, you know, I rather let my guitar speak out for me.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm with you there.
She sings for me, so, you know, people like it, I get a good reaction, so, you know.
Nothing wrong with
that.
You can always try doing singing later or whatever you like.
Hopefully, in the future.
Well, that's great. And so if you were to get in with some other traveling musicians, that's your total career goal, is to get and become a working musician out there?
Yeah, I kind of told myself ever since, you know, high school, if I'm successful in anything in music, that, you know, I'm happy with that. You know, as long as I can say my job has to do something with music, you know, that's I can live with that.
Now, let me ask you about some of your influences. Who inspires you? What other players, or what do you learn from?
I started off, my main influence, I'd say, was Angus Young from AC/DC. You know, obviously my dad always introduced me to that music at a young age, so AC/DC was a big, you know, thing. Angus Young, and I remember I always started off with like the thrash and all that, and people would tell me, "Oh, I heard blues jazz." I was like, I don't know what that is, you know. Like that fast, aggressive.
Young, rebellious.
Yeah, rebellious
loud,
little part of me was always just like, no. Until I saw an interview that they had Angus Young, and he said, oh yeah, I play the blues. It's not the blues. What's the blues?
Yeah.
What's this blues they speak of? So I started doing my little research, and I bumped into C. Ray Vaughan, and I remember the song was Voodoo Child, Slight Return.
Right.
That caught my attention right away. So C. Ray Vaughan was, I guess you could say the root of it. And for a long time, actually, I thought, Voodoo Child and what other songs does he cover by Hendrix? Well, I thought the original was by him. And when I remember teacher, he's a professor now, but a teacher in high school, he showed me the Hendrix version. I was just like, oh, he covers C. Ray Vaughan's song. He's
The other way around.
yeah, it's the other way around. So kind of from there, branched off. And then John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan is a big influence on him.
That's right.
Yeah, so from there, Buddy Guy, B.B. King, Albert King,
Into the
everything
originals.
kind of just, started making sense, and then...
That happens with a lot of guitar
Yeah.
players. They get into somebody, and then they get into that person's roots, and then it takes you back layers and layers of other players.
Yeah, and I recall my mentor telling me, all these artists, but like I said at the time, that little rebellious side of me was just like...
More metal. You want to
Yeah,
stay with the metal
but
roots and everything.
he told me someday it'll make sense, and everything kind of clicked, and I was, oh wow. He had a reason to tell me that. So.
I think you're not alone. A lot of players are that
yeah.
way. You start on whoever, but then you expand, because it's limitless what you can do with guitar, really, and styles and techniques. Do you ever play any acoustic stuff?
Yeah, I try to get into the Delta blues type of stuff, the Robert Johnson, stuff like that. But we usually want to have acoustic jams. We stay more to the reggae side. But yeah, from time to time, I'll noodle around on my way to work or something, because I always carry my acoustic with me, almost everywhere I go.
So it keeps the chops up.
Yeah,
shape and
keep my
everything.
chops where they're supposed to be.
Right.
But acoustic sessions, yeah, we have those from time to time. But mainly electric is where we.
How often do you guys typically practice during the week?
We have practice on Tuesdays with one band, Wednesdays with the other band, and we just set a rule for everyone, or an objective, like 2 weeks before the show, try to practice 2 or 3 times, or the day of. Yeah, to kind of have everyone, on where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a good habit to have.
Yeah, so I'll say out of the week, besides practice and jamming, I'll say maybe on a daily basis is where, we all meet
That's
up
what it
after
takes
work.
to really get good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, after work, let's jam on a, C minor, and we'll just let it go. Our singer, he's real good with lyrics, so, he never sings the same thing twice, when it comes to jams.
He just improvises
yeah.
right there on the spot?
Yeah. And
wow. That's,
it works.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Some people have that talent.
Yeah. Like, same thing with me. They always get mad at me for that, when we practice, my solos are always different.
Right.
But it's, if they put me on the spot and I start thinking about it, it kind of blocks that natural feel about it,
I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, so they just point at me and go, and I'm just like, oh.
It's fresher that way,
Yeah.
too, because you're creating on the spot.
Yeah,
Sometimes you make a mistake, but that's okay, it's the way
Yeah.
you grow. Right.
Yeah, so only you made the mistake, That's
Sometimes, that's good if you can do that.
So
That's
just
right.
play it off, and
Yeah.
that's my mentor always told me, never stop when you make a
Yeah.
mistake. Because
Right.
you made a mistake, but the audience
Just go
maybe
through
doesn't.
it.
Just go with it. And
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, speaking of jamming, do you want to, I don't know if you want to pick this or the Strat and do a little bit of jamming on it?
I'll possibly pick the Les Paul, give her a shot. All right.
And speaking of Jimmy, do you want to try just a little
All right.
Jimmy riff and just go to town on it?
All right.
Something
we'll
in
go with that.
E minor, so to speak. little bit of Buddy Miles vocals there on the guitars.
Yeah,
that
the
was
background.
Nice. Channeling Jimmy on the Les Paul, and you had the delay kicking in there to give it a little extra vibe. That was
tremolo
cool.
and the tube screamer.
Yeah, that all added up. So Jimmy is an influence to you, but it came secondarily. You were first Stevie Ray, and then you peeled back the layers.
Yeah, and I found Jimmy in there, and I was like, oh, well, let's
and that's endless too, because there's repertoires everywhere. So many songs. Great. You want to try another jam? And
yeah, I'll hop on the Strat for this one.
Great. Now I noticed you got the tremolo arm off it. You run it typically without tremolo?
Yeah, I had problems with it, with the tuning problems a while back.
It can drive you nuts sometimes.
Oh yeah, so I just decided, I have another Strat where I have it on.
Oh, okay.
That one, I can beat up the tremolo and it'll stay in tune.
Yeah.
It works, but yeah.
Sometimes you can get the locking systems.
Yeah.
Right. Well, different key. Maybe a blues, you were saying earlier, something in A?
Yeah.
Sort of a slowed down one. Okay. Very tasty. Yeah, the Strat sound.
Yeah.
My favorite. So when you're playing shows like that, are you doing a lot of the blues standard feeling songs interspersed with some of the original stuff?
Yeah, even on the reggae things, I
squeeze it in there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I gotta.
And do you find when you're doing some of the reggae songs, you're throwing in a lot of blues chops on top of that as well?
Yeah, I tend to kind of keep down on the overdrive, keep it more on the clean, whether like a compressor or something. You know, it gives it. I still give those
tone.
The traditional, yeah. You know, but from time to time I do sneak in a little bit of blues in there.
Yeah.
But you know, it seems to work. Everyone likes it, so you know, I keep doing it. You know, do what I do.
No, very tasty, very good sound that you're pulling out there. Want to try another up-tempo thing? Maybe pick a different key. We were saying that old Buddy Guy riff or something.
All right, yeah, let's try that.
Sort of goof on it. Yeah, Buddy Guy tune. Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Well, I'm so glad you came in, man. I'm really impressed. Really good chops. You can see
Thank
that
you.
You've done
Thank
your
you for
homework.
having me.
Want to take it out on one more just for fun?
Let's do it.
Sort of the combined Stevie Jimmy all-time jam. Just the old little bit of voodoo.
All right.